Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that affects half of our population, yet often doesn't receive the attention and understanding it deserves: women's health across the lifespan. Women's bodies are remarkable. They're capable of incredible transformations, adaptations, and resilience. Yet throughout history, women's health concerns have often been minimized, misunderstood, or simply overlooked. Today, we're going to explore the unique health considerations that women face at different stages of life, and why understanding these stages is crucial not just for women themselves, but for everyone who cares about building healthier communities. The foundation: adolescence and young adulthood. Let's begin at the beginning. When a young girl enters puberty, her body undergoes one of the most dramatic transformations she'll ever experience. This isn't just about physical changes. It's about hormonal shifts that affect mood, energy levels, bone density, and overall health for decades to come. During adolescence, proper nutrition becomes critical. This is when girls build up to 90% of their bone mass, creating a foundation that will serve them for the rest of their lives. Iron-rich foods become especially important as menstruation begins, yet many young women develop iron deficiency without even realizing it. The fatigue they feel isn't just from staying up late. It could be their body crying out for essential nutrients. Mental health during these years deserves special attention too. The hormonal fluctuations that accompany the menstrual cycle can significantly impact mood and emotional well-being. Understanding this connection helps young women recognize that what they're experiencing is real, valid, and manageable with the right support and strategies. The reproductive years: more than just reproduction. As women move into their 20s and 30s, we often focus exclusively on reproductive health. Yes, family planning, pregnancy, and childbirth are significant aspects of this stage, but they're far from the whole story. This is the time when many women are building careers, pursuing education, and establishing their independence. The stress of balancing multiple roles can take a real toll on physical and mental health. Chronic stress doesn't just make you feel tired. It can disrupt menstrual cycles, affect fertility, contribute to cardiovascular disease, and weaken immune function. Let's talk about pregnancy for a moment, because this is where the gaps in women's healthcare become particularly apparent. Pregnancy isn't just 9 months of waiting for a baby to arrive. It's a time when a woman's cardiovascular system, metabolic processes, and immune function undergo profound changes. Many pregnancy complications, like preeclampsia and gestational diabetes, are early warning signs of future health risks. A woman who develops gestational diabetes is 7 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes later in life. Yet too often, postpartum care ends after 6 weeks, leaving these warning signs unaddressed. The postpartum period itself is another critically underserved time. We celebrate the baby's arrival, but we often forget about the mother's recovery. Postpartum depression affects up to 1 in 7 women, yet many suffer in silence, believing they should just feel happy about their new baby. Physical recovery takes months, not weeks. Pelvic floor health in particular is something that affects millions of women, but is rarely discussed openly, leading to years of unnecessary discomfort and complications. The transition: perimenopause and menopause. Now let's move into a phase that has historically been shrouded in silence and misconception: perimenopause and menopause. For too long, menopause has been treated as the end of something, rather than simply a natural transition to a new phase of life. Perimenopause, which can begin in a woman's 40s or even late 30s, is when the body starts its gradual shift away from the reproductive years. This transition can last anywhere from a few months to over a decade. During this time, hormone levels fluctuate dramatically, leading to a constellation of symptoms that affect far more than just the reproductive system. Hot flashes and night sweats are the symptoms everyone knows about, but the changes go much deeper. Many women experience cognitive changes, what's often called brain fog, that can be alarming. They might find themselves struggling to remember words, losing focus during important meetings, or feeling like their mental sharpness has diminished. This isn't imagination. It's related to hormonal changes affecting brain function. Mood changes during perimenopause can be profound. Women with no history of depression may find themselves experiencing anxiety, irritability, or sadness that seems to come out of nowhere. Sleep disruption becomes common, creating a cascade effect on overall health and well-being. Here's what many people don't realize. Menopause also marks a critical shift in cardiovascular health. Before menopause, women have relatively lower rates of heart disease compared to men of the same age. After menopause, that protection diminishes rapidly. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, yet it's often thought of as primarily a men's health issue. Women's heart attack symptoms can be different from men's, less likely to involve crushing chest pain and more likely to include fatigue, shortness of breath, nausea, or back pain. This difference in presentation means women's heart attacks are often missed or misdiagnosed. Bone health also becomes crucial during and after menopause. The drop in estrogen accelerates bone loss, increasing the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. A hip fracture in an older woman isn't just a broken bone, it can be life-altering or even life-threatening. The wisdom years, health in later life. Which brings us to the later decades of life, when women often find themselves in a new role, caregiver. Many women in their 60s, 70s and beyond are caring for aging parents, supporting adult children or looking after grandchildren. This caregiving role, while meaningful, often comes at the expense of their own health needs. Older women face unique health challenges. They're more likely to live with multiple chronic conditions simultaneously. They're more likely to live alone, which can impact both physical safety and mental health. They're more likely to experience poverty in old age, affecting their access to healthcare, nutritious food, and safe housing. Yet this stage of life also offers opportunities. Many women report feeling more comfortable in their own skin, more confident in expressing their needs, and more willing to prioritize their own well-being. This is a time when strength training becomes particularly important, not for appearance, but for maintaining independence, preventing falls, and preserving bone density. This is a time when social connections become as important to health as any medication. The common threads. What binds these stages together? As we look across all these life stages, certain themes emerge that are relevant to women's health at any age. First, the need for healthcare that truly listens. Study after study shows that women's pain is often taken less seriously than men's. Women's symptoms are more likely to be attributed to stress or emotions, and women wait longer for diagnoses of serious conditions. This isn't a small problem, it's a matter of life and death. Women are 50% more likely to receive a wrong initial diagnosis after a heart attack. That's not a small statistical blip, that's thousands of lives affected. Second, the importance of mental health parity with physical health. The mind and body are not separate entities, they're intimately connected. Hormonal changes affect mental health. Chronic stress manifests as physical illness. Treating mental health concerns isn't self-indulgence, it's essential healthcare. Third, the power of prevention and early intervention. So many of the serious health challenges women face in later life have their roots in earlier decades. Building strong bones in adolescence prevents fractures in old age. Managing gestational diabetes reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes. Addressing perimenopause symptoms can improve quality of life and potentially reduce long-term health risks. Fourth, the crucial role of education and self-advocacy. When women understand their own bodies, recognize what's normal and what's not, and feel empowered to speak up about their health concerns, outcomes improve dramatically. Moving forward, a call to action. So where do we go from here? How do we bridge the gaps in women's healthcare and ensure that every woman receives the care and attention she deserves at every stage of life? It starts with conversation. We need to talk openly about menstruation, menopause, pregnancy complications, pelvic health, and all the other topics that have traditionally been considered too private or uncomfortable to discuss. Silence serves no one. It only perpetuates ignorance and shame. We need healthcare systems that are designed with women's needs in mind from the ground up. This means adequate time for appointments, providers who listen without judgment, and integrated care that recognizes the connections between different aspects of health. We need more research that includes women. For decades, medical research was conducted primarily on men, with findings assumed to apply equally to women. We now know this isn't true. Women metabolize medications differently, experience different symptoms of the same diseases, and have unique health concerns that require specific study. We need workplaces and communities that support women's health needs. This might mean flexible work arrangements that accommodate medical appointments, understanding that menopause symptoms can affect work performance, or creating spaces where women feel comfortable discussing their health concerns. And perhaps most importantly, we need to empower women themselves, giving them the knowledge, resources, and confidence to take charge of their own health journeys. The power within each woman's body is extraordinary. From the dramatic transformations of puberty through the creative potential of the reproductive years, from the wisdom of the menopausal transition to the strength of later life, women's bodies demonstrate remarkable adaptability and resilience. But this power can only be fully realized when women have access to informed, compassionate, comprehensive healthcare at every stage of life. When young girls learn that their changing bodies are normal and healthy, when new mothers receive the support they need to recover and thrive, when women going through menopause are treated with respect rather than dismissed, when older women's health concerns are taken seriously and addressed with the same urgency given to any other patient.
Wow,
Understanding women's health
honey.
at every stage of life
such a good
isn't
job
just a
taking
women's
care.
issue,
love the strawberry.
it's a
Me
human
Ready
issue.
for a high five?
Women make up half the population, and their health affects families, communities, and society as a whole. When we invest in women's health, when we listen to women's concerns, when we provide the care and support women need at every age, everyone benefits. The power is within. Now it's time to honor it, support it, and allow it to flourish. Thank you.